Hello everyone, this is Flight for Conservation, and this is the second episode of our series where we go over current U.S. state birds and imagine species that may be better options. Today we'll be talking about North Dakota and the western meadowlark. Before we get into my choice for North Dakota state bird, let's briefly go over the criteria for a good state bird. First, any state bird should be charismatic, whether it be behavior, a distinctive song, or coloration. A state bird should draw the attention of any resident or visitor to the state. While most states have successfully chosen charismatic state birds, several of them have failed to meet my second criteria, which is natural or native. You might expect all states to choose a native bird, but in cases like the ringneck pheasant in South Dakota, which we did our first video on, some have picked non-native or exotic species to represent their state. Choosing a bird that is not only part of the natural environment, but native to a relatively small area around the state would be even more preferable, as the bird would be more representative of the area than a species that can be found anywhere. For example, it would make more sense to choose the Leconte sparrow for a state in the Midwest than the cedar waxwing, which can be found anywhere. Lastly, the state bird should be unique to that state. Many states across the U.S. actually share the same state bird. This is particularly true in the case of the northern cardinal, which is the state bird for Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, Virginia, and North Carolina. While the northern cardinal is a charismatic bird, having it represent 7 states seems like a wasted opportunity to draw attention to other equally charismatic species. This lack of individuality remains true for North Dakota's state bird, the western meadowlark, which it shares with Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Montana, and Oregon. This should not take away from the virtues of the western meadowlark itself, though. Most closely related to bobolinks and yellow-headed blackbirds, meadowlarks are part of the Icturidae family, which includes blackbirds, cowbirds, and orioles. Western meadowlarks are almost identical to eastern meadowlarks and are best identified by their song. Meadowlarks are easily distinguishable in the field as they have a bright yellow breast and belly with a distinct black V across the breast. While once considered a potential pest to crops due to their habit of eating seeds and grains, western meadowlarks are now considered a significant in pest control, consuming invertebrates like grasshoppers, beetles, and caterpillars. Interestingly, during the breeding season, males are known to have 2 mates who do most of the incubating, brooding, and feeding of the young. Chosen in 1947, North Dakota was the last of the 6 states to choose the western meadowlark as its state's bird. So while it is charismatic and native, it does not fit our criteria of being unique. So what species might make more sense to represent North Dakota? Allow me to introduce to you the piping plover. The piping plover is a charming little shorebird native to the Great Plains and the East Coast. While most of the U.S. only sees this species as an occasional migrant, piping plovers can be seen in breeding colonies throughout much of North Dakota. With an orange beak and legs and a dark ring around its upper breast and neck, the piping plover is a distinctive charismatic species of the upper Midwest. Piping plovers, like other plover species, lay their eggs on the beach in nests lined with shells to camouflage them from above. These plovers are also known to return to those same nesting areas with the same mate over several years. So, like many North Dakotans, piping plovers are tied to their land and will protect it with ferocity. Because of the piping plover's dependence on sandy beaches, however, its historic populations have dwindled, leading to a near-threatened designation by the IUCN Red List. Further, the inland population has reached levels to where they are considered federally endangered in the United States. Much of the species' historic habitat has been lost to urbanization and development of coastline, and nesting pairs near highly trafficked beaches are much less likely to be successful. Predators like raccoons and rising water levels due to climate change also present threats to piping plover populations. Despite the challenges, active management efforts like building fences around nests and improving protected areas have led to an increasing population of piping plovers in the United States. The work to protect this species is not finished, however, and I believe that changing the North Dakota state bird to the piping plover could be a positive next step in putting a spotlight on this charismatic species. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be posting some links below to sites where you can get more information on the piping plover and its conservation. Happy birding!